Now, it's almost football season, and this is going to be under further review because at that point is when the
conversation took a turn.
That's right. I said, and this is true, I'll just indicate, I wear reading glasses. You know that.
Constantly.
Okay.
You carry a pair in your pocket just in case.
I do. I have reading glasses. Now, I do wear them in here constantly because it helps me see the screens in front of me and the words on the paper.
And you buy these at the 5 and dime.
Yeah, and I have the same pair, and I've had them for years, and I buy them at the 5 and dime or wherever it might be. You know, Dollar Tree, Dollar General, Dollar Store, whatever. I'll buy them. I don't. And sometimes if I'm in a pinch, Dave has some right here, and I'll just throw those on.
Got them everywhere.
Right. So that's fairly typical, I think, of people who need a little help with their reading. But my wife is forever saying, you wear your reading glasses so much, you need to go get a prescription and you need to get contact lenses. She's very, very interested in me getting contact lenses. And in fact, 5 or 6 years ago when I started wearing reading glasses, she had me try one contact. Remember that?
Who could forget that great experiment?
I remember that.
You made a pass at me all day, sitting here looking at me, winking. What do you want, sex?
Yeah.
It didn't work.
She tried to give you the robot eye.
Yeah. it just didn't work. And I went and I said, plus, I hate putting them in the morning. I'd rather just wear the glasses don't bother me at all, the reading glasses. So now here's where it's under further review. I said, I don't know why she wants me to have contacts so badly. She's got this fascination with contacts. And Dave said,
It's because you have that damn emoji you keep sending out to people that has glasses on them, and she doesn't want to see that anymore.
all right.
She wants you without glasses.
Okay, right.
And your emoji.
She goes,
Now, you took that as an insult.
yeah, he says, because you got those glasses resting all over your nose. You know, and I took it as an insult.
And
She
then
owes you 2 apologies.
You immediately ordered Dave
To say two nice things about me.
things.
No.
We made a rule in here on Friday. When someone says something unkind or untoward, and this is from my daughter's summer camp, if you say something unkind to someone, you then have to stop everything and say 2 nice things about that
But
person.
Dave is challenging the call on the field of an insult being directed your way.
Because I didn't say it, I just translated.
You said it, and
Your wife owes it.
No,
I'll split it with her.
You didn't.
She wants to say one nice thing, I'll say one.
We don't know what she's thinking. You said it, therefore you owe me. But I think what Chris Demm is saying is it doesn't even rise to the level of an insult.
I don't know that I see it.
All
Well,
right.
that may be true, too.
I may have to pick up the flag.
Wave it off. Pick it up. Wave it off. There is no penalty on the field.
Please reset the game clock.
You're not going to go yell at the ref, are you?
Yeah, I don't know who's should be more insulted here.
There is no
There was
foul.
no insult.
There's no foul.
He does look bad with the glasses. He is an adult man using an emoji.
Yeah.
Fact.
After further review, he does use an emoji.
It's not an insult to use the truth as a defense.
We have found all this to be true.
First down.
I think that's a good call, Jim.
You said it.
This is very odd.
You can see it coming out of Dave's mouth right here. He's smirking, but he knows he's in the clear.
It's true. We were all offended by that.
Yeah.
The drive goes on.
Let them play. Let them play. That's it.
All right.
It's all over there. Okay, so we are waving that off, but our policy is if you say something untoward about somebody,
You owe them 2 nice?
you have to say 2 nice. That was at my daughter's summer camp. By the way, my daughter, when we dropped off my son at college,
Oh, yes.
You might want to remove the glasses for this.
this was emotional. I'll tell you what my daughter said.
I brought in the good tissues.
Yeah, I got the Puff Plus with a little drop of Retsin in there, or whatever it is. I like that. But my daughter said, now we were sitting out on a bench, my daughter and myself. Now the dorm room is the size of, this room. It is tiny. And when we got there, his roommate and his roommate's friend were in the room. And the roommate's friend just would not. It was a bra. bruh.
What's up?
Roommate's friend. I don't like that.
I didn't like that I didn't have a
You
problem.
mean from home?
No, he lived in a dorm like across the campus.
So on campus.
Yeah, on campus friend, which was fine. His roommate got there the day before my son got there. But when we were there, it was like 15 minutes, and there's 5 of us in the room, and it's like tiny, and we're trying to put things away. And the roommates, I think if I were the roommate's friend, I'd have taken the cue to, okay, I'm going back to my room now. Or why don't you come with me? But It took a little while. Then they vamooshed. They were like, all right, we'll get out and give you all some room. So it was fine. So, but for a little while, my daughter and I just sat out in the hall because there was nothing we were doing right then. And I said, let's just vacate this area so we
Give
can
them space.
Yeah.
And my daughter turned to me and she said, I will never live like this. I will never live in these conditions.
These conditions?
Yeah.
What do you think she meant?
She hates germs. She's like her mother. She hates germs and anything like crowded in. And she looked at and she gave me a look like, I would never live in these deplorable.
A lot of shared spaces.
Showering.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, she
yeah.
saw where they were going to shower. We use the bathroom, and it's like bathroom and then showers. And she goes, oh, I could never, ever live like this. And I said, what about when you go to college? She said, well, I won't if it means living like this.
She made that big decision.
Yeah, I mean, and I said, well, you'll probably change your mind. She goes, oh, I won't. I will
no.
not. I will not live in these conditions. So there's that. Okay.
Biggie has pointed out that she has ascended to the throne rapidly.
Yeah.
Quickly.
There was a vacuum, but it did not last.
That's
Didn't
right.
cry long.
That's right.
Dave doesn't know, but somebody was sent to Bojangles early yesterday morning.
Already.
Already.
To do the princess's bidding.
Yeah.
Yes, immediately.
Get me breakfast.
She has. That's correct. That's
Get your
right.
filet biscuit.
She has. Well, the night before we took the boy off to college, which happened on Saturday, we had my brother-in-law and sister-in-law over for a cookout, burgers and dogs. I had a grilled chicken salad.
Yum.
But anyway, they were over, and they were playing cornhole outside for a while. We had a nice time, So as they were leaving, now my son left 5 minutes before they did because he had another little thing to go to. And so, all right, so he left, and we said goodbye to my brother-in-law, sister-in-law, niece, and nephew. And they leave. My wife was in the driveway, and when my wife came back in, she goes through the garage, opens the garage door, and I saw her come into the house, and right behind her was a bat flying in for the second time in a year. He comes flying in. Now it's 8:30 at night. I'm ready to go to bed. And the darn bat comes in.
Guess who's back?
Yes. Flies around.
Maybe he wanted to share her coffin.
Well, I said, there's a bat behind her. And she turned and screamed and hit the deck and then ran to the laundry room.
Was the house itself protected? Or could the bat have gained entry into the home itself?
Oh, it's in. It's in the home. It's in the kitchen. I mean, it came in behind her. She came in the
I thought
garage
she was
door.
in the garage.
No, she came through. I saw her come into the house
Okay.
and right behind her because the garage door had been open for a few hours.
Gotcha.
And it came in behind her. That's the second time. That's the second time this has happened. And it was a big old one. Once again, a furry Halloween bat coming at me.
Did you call your lawyer?
Did you get that helmet out?
Okay. All right now.
Who gets to wear the helmet?
They're going to let him play on. They're going to let him play
I'm
on.
gonna let it play on because again, there's truth in this. I have worn a helmet in these situations before.
Okay.
All right.
Well, last time around, and my wife headed right for the laundry room and called her dog behind her. She's like, into the room, My daughter had already disappeared up to her room, so I screamed up, stay in your room.
She's safe.
Stay in your room.
Anyone have eyes on the creature?
Well, I did. So I grabbed my broom, just like I did last time.
It's a nice implement to use.
That's what I had.
Sweep it under the rug.
Right. And
What you looking at, sucker? You gonna hit me with that?
You killed my father. My name is Inigo Montoya.
remember.
He was sent for
It
revenge.
was exactly a year ago.
Bat in the Castle Part 2.
A year ago, I was at my fantasy football draft, which takes place this month, and here it came into the house, and now here it is again. Now, last time, I fought it for an hour, and we had called 911, and I fought it and knew where it was, and I trapped it in a room, and it escaped, and I trapped it in another room, and it flew around for an hour.
Yeah.
Well, this time, I chased it through the kitchen, and then it went into an area where it could have gone one of three directions, up, right, or left. And I got to the area, and it was gone.
A literal crossroads.
Yes, and I could not find that bat. And I looked for it for an hour and a half. Now, we called 911. All right. That's right. I called 911.
What's the address of your emergency?
Help!
I believe at this point you're getting to be known by 911.
They said,
What is it this
not
time?
you again.
Is the ice cream truck too loud, sir?
Is it the scammers, the gas smell, or a creature in your home?
Creature in home.
Operator, it's him again,
Yeah,
Rudy.
yeah, okay. Yeah, they see me calling. They're like, yeah, it's okay.
They just exchange $5 with each other now.
Yeah.
I told you it wouldn't take 6 months.
I said, there's a bat in my home. She goes, She said, okay, what's your emergency? I said, well, I know this is kind of back burnerish, but there's a bat in my home. Now it's 9 o'clock. And she goes, well, we'll send animal control as soon as we can. Well, I walk around the house with my broom in my hand, and I poke at, because then I start Googling, where could they be? Behind curtains, behind wall hangings. So I start poking at curtains with my...
But you had them squared off into one area, yes?
No.
You're not really?
Not really. No, it could have been dining room. It could have been like living room, or it could have been upstairs where my daughter is.
That's hard times,
And there's
Daddy.
a few rooms up there, like a guest room. And I was like, oh, boy. So I'm poking around, and I just cannot find it. I mean, it took an hour and a half. I finally just sat down and turned on Titanic.
Are you wearing a head covering at all?
Yes, I put on my Broncos helmet, and
Oh, you don't want them to, get in your...
right,
They lay eggs in your head.
and you'll go crazy.
I know.
So I walk around. I could not find, and I poked at every curtain. And it never
Wife's
came.
nowhere to be found.
She's in the laundry room with the dog.
Were you texting?
I yelled to her. I was like, I think you can come out. She was, I'm not coming out.
She spend the night in there?
Are you watching Titanic? What else am I supposed to do?
Find it! Get back!
And again, I looked around. Well, I called 911 again. I said, listen, it's been about an hour. And they said, now, he's going to get there when he gets there. We are aware of your situation.
I'm sorry, they're all busy covering a shooting.
Right. That was the issue. Well, finally, now it's 10:45.
There comes a deputy.
Here comes, it's an animal control officer. And he rings the doorbell.
Pitbull. What? Pitbull call?
No.
Bat.
All right. Okay. So I said, look, at this point, it's been 2 hours I've been looking for, and I wanted to be asleep. I'm driving
Get
my
a big
son.
day tomorrow.
I'm driving my son to college.
What a pain.
The next day. Right. A pain. And so I said, I hate to be such a pain, but I can't find. I said, I've poked every curtain. And he says, fill out this paperwork while I look for him. I have to put the names of the people in the house.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, I saw it come in, so it hasn't touched any of it. He said, still, we need to know the names of the people in the house. So write it down, and all this stuff. And so I said, okay, I'll fill this out while you find him. He goes, I found him. I said, well, he's been in the house 30 seconds. I said, what do you mean? He goes, well, they're often behind curtains. And he goes, take a look right there. He pulled out one curtain, and there it was. And I had poked that curtain, and it didn't even come. If that guy was so good.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, that quickly, he's like,
Jeez.
because we sort of know where they hide. And he pulled it out, and there it was. And I was just like, what? And he was hanging on to the back of the curtain. Of course,
I can jab you with the rabies now if you want.
What's your first shot?
You can do it at first light.
But it may be too late.
So he takes his little cup, puts it over the top. It didn't have to do a thing.
Just like that.
Just like that. He was there 5 minutes. I filled out the paperwork. He said, we'll call you if you've got rabies. I said, okay.
How big was it? Tell me how big it was.
Pretty large, just like the last one. It looked like a bat you'd put on for a Halloween
Their
decoration.
bodies are tiny, though, right?
Yes.
The wingspan is what...
When it came flying through,
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, good God.
Was
Follow
it
your
bigger than a
wife.
man's hand?
Yes. I'd say, yeah. With the wingspan, yeah, I'd say that size.
I love that it followed your wife in. Like it was going home. Guess I'll be sleeping here tonight.
Well, then we let her. I went in. She was curled up on some dirty clothing on the bottom, on the
You could have
laundry,
at least done the laundry.
on the laundry room floor. Yes. I
Did your
said,
son come home in the meantime?
no, I told him to stay out. I called him. I said, stay out till I call. And he was at his friend's house. And he said, okay. And then I called him, told it was done. He's like, okay, I'm coming home. And that was that. But, geez, it was such a distraction.
For sure.
The night before we take him off to college, the next day.
Is there guano in your house?
I don't think so. He was he was there for 2 hours, but he was behind that curtain almost the entire time. And I looked around on the floor and everything.
Smart.
Everything was fine. And luckily, it was just one that got in, and the guy took him out. But geez, that's the second time. And that guy said, "This is the month for bats." He's like, "You're going to get them in the late summer. You get bats." And and I said, "Well, it happened about a year ago." He goes, "Yeah." And he said, "Keep your garage door closed because it comes in the garage because it was open for 3 hours while we were playing cornhole."
Yeah.
And then as soon as my wife comes in, it follows her in. And it was just like, what a pain,
No, that's it. Till the next episode.
I know. So the next day, we wake up, time for my son to go off to college.
Yes.
Very emotional. We took him, of course. He drove me. My wife and daughter followed in another car because his car stayed down there to East Carolina University. Almost a 3-hour drive. On the drive, I covered drinking, drugs, sex.
The talk.
Had it in the car.
Did you turn the radio off for this?
I had to. I was listening.
Son turned the radio off.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, no.
Yeah, I said to him, we're going to talk about 3 things. drinking, drugs, and sex. You choose the order. And he was just like, oh my God. And he was driving. He's like, oh my God, do we have to? I said, yes, we do. So I went through all of it with him. I think I did a good job.
In your experience?
I didn't use really I was really channeling Dave through all this.
Drinking, use only your top shelf liquors.
Right. Right.
Sex? Yes.
Yes.
Well, Dad, I didn't know you had all this kind of action. These are Uncle Dave's stories. I'm just repeating for you.
Pull out your notes.
And we got there and we set the room up and everything, and that took a couple hours. And then we were all starving. It was like 2 o'clock. So we went out and had a meal, went to a Mexican restaurant that somebody recommended there. And near the end of the meal, my son said, well, what's next, to do? And I was like,
we're going home.
We're done.
That's it.
And you could just see on all of our faces, it was like, I had a hard time with it. I really had a tough time with it. And
well,
he and I, we hugged, and it was just, this is nice, It was,
Sure.
but it was hard, and he had a hard time with it, and his mother, we all just had.
Yeah,
it was tough because he, of course, I just thought it was like when you bring him home from the hospital, and Dave, you'll know me. We went into the hospital with 2, and we came out with 3, and you drive home at about 5 miles per hour, because you're so worried. And this time we go to the dorm room with 4 of us, and we leave, and there's just 3 of us, and it's kind of like come full circle, Yeah. Really, really hard. And so many people, P1 listeners, sent me really sad songs and said, let's make Chris Kelly cry.
I know.
I didn't even need the songs. I didn't even need the songs. I didn't need it.
I got a lot of that too. It was like, hey, here's a really sad song for him to play on his way down.
It's like I didn't need that.
No.
Because I was sad enough already. And then on the way home, it was we talked about him a lot, and then we got over it pretty much. Then we turned onto the street to go to our house, and it was like it hit us again. It's like he's not there, and he's not going to be there.
Has there been contact with the boy?
Oh yeah. Oh yes.
I was going to say
FaceTimes and texts.
He called the next day and said, "Where do I eat?"
Just woke up. It's 2 p.m. Where do I eat?
Let's see. I probably should have covered that in the talk.
Yeah. And so his mother got on the line and said, well, you can go to this dining hall or here or
How
whatever.
do I get there?
How do I get there? And then I told him now classes start today. Classes.
That's tight, man.
It is tight. Now, and I think he probably should have gone. He could have gone earlier, but he wanted to stay. And so, anyhow, I told him, now, whatever you do, this was yesterday. I said, walk around, go to those buildings so that well, last night.
Now, you said, Kelly, he's got a car, but he won't be driving to class.
No. The car is parked, a mile away.
Okay.
For weekends, he can walk or get a ride.
So this is a walking campus.
Oh, yes. And so I said, walk to each building so okay, Monday at 10 a.m., this is where my class is, and this is where I have to be. So last night, I talked to him, and I said, now, did you walk to those buildings? No, I put it in my Apple Maps. And I was like, you're in trouble on that.
Trouble.
I just want to make sure you get. I said, well, leave early for the class and all that. But he has met some people, made some friends. So
good.
That's really
Okay,
good.
I think it's been a good start for him.
How's the old roommate situation after?
Good. He told me that they got along really well.
Good.
And that the roommate was very considerate, and that they were
that's
being
good.
very considerate to each other. And he seemed like a really nice kid. When I met him, I was like, okay, this kid's pretty good. So I like everything about
Hopefully
him.
it'll stay
And the
that
first
way.
class will be
First class is today at 10 a.m. It is a psychology class.
101.
Yes, and he's walking to the class for the first time today. Oh, I know.
I hate this class.
Oh, I know. And but it's required for freshmen, and so he's going to that class today at 10.
Well, that'll be it, because it sounds like your daughter's going to live at home and go to a
Correct.
local school.
She has made that
Because
very
most
clear.
conditions are
Well-
like that. Unless you go a little more high dollar.
Well, I said, sweetheart, this is what college is. She goes, well, it's not for me.
No.
Well, you better figure something out.
I
No,
said,
I
well,
think you should definitely try. No.
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 I said, this is it.